Hello everyone, my name is EVOO and welcome to Cooking with the Koyas. It is great to see you because today I'm going to share my very own recipe for stuffed peppers. Let's get started. I have some beautiful bell peppers here. These ones are red ones. You could use red, yellow, or orange. Try to stay away from the green ones because the red ones are nice and sweet. Now also when you pick the peppers, try to pick peppers that will sit straight, not like this. So you want them so that they sit kind of flat. They'll just be easier to cook that way. Okay, so these have been washed and dried. First thing I like to do is remove the cap. So just cut through the cap. And then you're going to want to, just on the inside here, just remove the insides of those seeds. And even the inside, you see these, the skin here on the inside layer. Try to remove a little bit of that too. First of all, it's not as sweet as the pepper, and secondly, it takes up room because we're gonna stuff these. So, okay, there we go. One little piece there. All right, so that's good. That one is done. And now for the caps, what I would like you to do with the caps, we are going to use these caps. So take your cap and just dice it. Small little diced pieces. And I'll show you how we're going to use these in our stuffed peppers. There we go. So we're going to dice those, put those aside, and we're going to continue doing this with all of our peppers. Okay, our last one. Remove the top, and again, if you cut close to the pepper, you will be able to get a lot of that thin membrane out the first time. But basically, you want to make sure you take it as much out as possible. Okay, there we go. Very nice. And then again, with our cap, remove the stem. We are going to slice and dice. Okay, as you can see here, we've got a nice little pod of sliced and diced peppers. There we go. Perfect. Add them to the pile. And let's make our way over to the stove. On our stove, I have a pot of water here, so let's crank that up to high. And let's bring that to a boil. Here, we're going to cook some rice. If you have a rice cooker, by all means, use your rice cooker. But if not, this is so easy to cook rice. It doesn't get much easier than this. 1 cup of water, half a cup of rice. Give it a stir. Okay, let's bring some heat to it. And let's bring that up to a boil. So we've got our rice going. Pot of water ready to boil. Let's make our sauce. We're going to add 4 tablespoons of butter. This is salted butter, which is equivalent to a half stick of butter. And we are also going to add 4 generous tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. Okay, 2, 3, 1 more. And 4. Okay, so we're going to heat this up and melt this butter down and blend the olive oil and the butter together. There we go. Our butter is melted. So to that, we are going to add 1 clove of minced garlic. So 1 clove of minced garlic. We are going to cook that. I'm going to drop it down to medium heat for about 60 seconds. Okay, and while that's cooking, during that 60 seconds, take a look at our rice. And our rice has started to boil. So as such, what I'm going to do, this is the time where you want to add your salt, after you've got a boil. So a half a cup of rice needs a half a teaspoon of salt. Once you've added your salt, mix it in. Put the lid back on, and then the stove can go on simmer. So just let that simmer. And we want to let that simmer until all the water evaporates. Once all the water is evaporated, we can just turn it off and let it sit. Okay, it's been a minute, so let's add our onion now. So I have here 1 cup of onion, which you could see I have diced very, very finely. So 1 cup of diced onion, that goes in, which is about one medium-sized onion, and I like to use a sweet onion or a red onion, but if not, you can just use a regular cooking onion. It's no problem. But medium-sized is what you're going to want, about a cup worth. Okay? Once you've added your onion, you can now add your diced carrots. I have a 1/2 cup. Again, you could see they're diced, finely cut diced. 1/2 cup of diced carrots. And I also have a 1/2 cup of diced celery. Okay, and I'm going to add that as well, as you can see. Now, that's about 1 celery stalk and about 1 carrot. That's the equivalent. Okay, and here I have 6 sun-dried tomatoes, which I have, again, sliced and diced. As you can see, there's a theme going here with the dicing. Mix that all together. Okay, and now we are also going to add, because this is going to be the base for our stuffed peppers. Now I'm going to add, this is 8 ounces of mushrooms, and you can see I've done the same thing, sliced and diced them. This was actually the container I bought them in, and I am using cremini mushrooms, but you can use regular white mushrooms, no problem. And then, do you remember those beautiful peppers that we diced up? You guessed it. In they go. Okay, this base is a phenomenal base for our stuffed peppers, as you're going to see. So what you do here, just mix it all in, get everything incorporated, and then you're going to want to let this cook down. We're going to cook it on medium for at least 20 minutes, which, by the way, it takes 20 minutes to cook the rice too. So we are multitasking here. Okay, let's get this mixed up. And we're going to keep it on medium heat and continue. And we're going to stir this every so often. We're just not going to walk away. We're going to stir it and continue to cook it for a good 20 minutes. Now at this point, you can also salt to taste, because we have not added any salt yet. And it's going to need a little bit of salt. So again, salt to taste, work it all in, continue to cook. And the mushrooms are going to release a little bit of liquid, and that's fine. In fact, I should let you know, I like to wash my onions. I know a lot of people just wipe them, but I like to wash them, and a little bit of extra water that it retains is not a problem. At least I know they're good and clean. Okay, there we go. This is going. That water's on. That's on simmer. We're off to a great start. Now, I do have one more ingredient here, and that is tomato paste. And at this point, you can add, it's just one can of tomato paste, which is 5.5 ounces. So we're going to add our tomato paste, and we are going to do the same thing and mix that all in very, very nicely. It is good and thick. Now, if you don't have tomato paste, you can just use whatever tomato sauce that you have. If you have any tomato sauce or passata, you can use that as well, okay? So it doesn't necessarily have to be tomato paste, but tomato passata, tomato sauce, it all works. Okay, same thing. Let's get that all mixed in together and nice. Our rice is coming along. There's still a little bit of water in there, so I'm going to leave that on simmer. Again, as soon as all that water is gone, I will take it off of simmer and cut the heat. Here, you can see that tomato paste has given our base here a really, really nice color. So this is cooking up beautifully. Look at that color there. That is fantastic. And in keeping with the multitasking theme, I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil here, probably about 2 tablespoons. And I'm going to bring that heat up. We are going to start. I've got 1 pound of what I'm going to call my Italian triple mix, or not mine, but this is pork, veal, and beef. Now, if you can't find pork, veal, and beef mix, you can use pork and beef mix, or you can just use straight ground beef. Now, I like to use pork, veal, and beef mixture. I think that makes the best stuffed pepper, so that's why I suggest it. But as an alternative, ground beef will do fine. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna salt this to taste, and we're gonna, as soon as it's cooked and browned, we're gonna turn the heat off of that. So let's give this a little bit of a browning. So this is starting to brown up. I've got that on medium heat. And let's check our rice. It looks like all the water is evaporated, so we will turn the heat off. Very simple for rice. Bring it to a boil, 20 minutes, and it's done. So I'm just gonna let it finish cooking. This is almost browned up. As soon as it's totally browned, we're gonna kill the heat on it and let it rest. Let's give this a stir too. You don't want anything to stick. Remember all that olive oil and butter we put in? Look at the bottom of this pan. It's almost dry. You would think that you're putting in too much, but you're not. Okay, give that a stir. That is looking really, really good. And this is actually almost done. So our beef is now cooked, our beef mixture I should say. And if you're using straight beef, by the way, just get yourself a lean ground beef. Okay, there we go. I can turn the heat off of that. And now this can just kind of sit and wait its turn. So we can now continue to multitask, okay? Remember that pot of water we started cooking? All right, it's time to add 2 tablespoons of salt. Basically, to 1 liter of water, you want to add about 3/4 of a tablespoon of salt. So in this case, I've added 2 tablespoons of salt. And now what we do is we're going to give our peppers a little bath. What we're going to do is just cook them for 2 minutes. So we're going to blanch them basically. But all we want is a 2 minute blanch, that's it. And then they're gonna come out. So in they go just briefly, bring it back to a boil, and then 2 minutes and we'll take them out. Meanwhile, again, continue to multitask. So this is really cooked up nicely. I'm gonna put the heat now down to medium low, almost to simmer. This is cooked up really, really nice. What we can do now is take our ground beef mixture and add it along with all those juices. Remember how dry the sauce was to begin with? Well, now we want all those juices back in there. There's a lot of flavor in there, and we want all that flavor into our base. There we go. And again, oh, that's boiling, so we're just going to give those peppers about another minute. That's it. Okay, and this, again, mix it all in, incorporate it all together. Over to our peppers. And again, you're just blanching them a couple minutes. That's all you want. You don't want them to get too soft. You want them to retain their shape. Okay, this just basically gives them a head start when we go to bake them. Okay, and then let's add some more. In you go, in you go. In you go. Let's bring that back to a boil. In the meanwhile, we can give that another stir. Our last peppers are now done. They come out. They are beautiful. Okay, take that one out, drain it, and then one more, if I can get it. There we go. So, one thing we can do now, which I've been dying to do here, do a little taste test. Let's see how our sauce base is coming along. A little bit of everything. There we go. Oh my goodness. The flavor in this, unbelievable. Oh, that is so good. Okay. Now, it's time to add our rice, which is fully cooked. It's been a good 20 minutes, and I can just use this same spatula here because it's all going to be the same flavors, and get all that rice into our base. Okay, now this is the icing on the cake right here. So now all we do, same thing, same theme, incorporate, get everything mixed together. You don't want to see clumps of rice, you don't want to see clumps of meat. You want everything mixed together nice and evenly. So take your time. Again, this is still on simmer, so everything is nice and hot. The rice was hot going in as well, so everything is nice and warm. And I'm just going to continue to mix this until I'm happy that everything is mixed in really, really nicely. The stuffing is actually very, very easy. We're going to take our peppers. You remember how we got the ones that stand up nicely? This is why we want ones that stand up nicely. There we go. And place them in this casserole dish. And see how many I can get in here. I'll drain that little bit of water out. I might be able to get, I think I can get 6 in there quite comfortably. There we go. My oven is now preheating to 350. And then quite simply take that beautiful mixture. Oh, look at there. Oh boy, these are going to be so good and flavorful. Pack it in nice and tight. Pack it in right to the top. Leave just a little bit of room because we're going to add some grated mozzarella cheese yet. So let's continue to fill these. One more to go. Last but not least, pack that in there quite nicely. There we go. Oh yeah, this is going to be really good. Basically to the top. There we go. Now with our freshly grated mozzarella cheese, just take some. I just grated this moments ago. More multitasking, you're right. Okay. It pays to be a multitasker, all right. If not, it just takes you longer to make the dish, that's all. No big deal. Okay. Don't be shy with the mozzarella. There we go. Okay, a little bit more. All right, now the oven is going to 350. Once it comes to temperature, in it goes, and we're going to cook it for 30 to 40 minutes at 350. In we go at 350. Set the timer for 30 minutes, and I think that's all it's going to take. In my oven, usually it's 30 minutes, but like I say, it's 30 to 40 minutes depending on your oven. Let's take a look. Shut that oven down. Oh yes. Oh yes. Take a look at that right there. Oh my goodness, take a look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I can't wait to do the taste test. These are just beaming with flavor. So of course, these are still piping hot. Again, I should probably wait a bit, but let's get one out right here. Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness, first things first. Salute. Let's cut into this pepper. Okay, I'm just gonna start cutting. I'm gonna cut it right in half. Let's cut it right in half. Oh, and looky there. Now, you notice the inside, you see how it stayed together quite nicely? Look at that, isn't that nice? Nice and firm, stayed together. Okay, now I just mangled half of it there. That's okay. Let's get that all on that nice pepper. There we go. That's better. That's not as mangled. Oh my goodness. The flavors on this stuffed pepper are absolutely amazing. And I know I have a friend / family member, Steve, if you're tuning in, I know you've been waiting years for me to share this recipe. Well, here it is. It's live, it's mine, it's delicious, and I'm so glad to be sharing it with not only you, Steve, but everyone else who's tuning in today. You need to give this recipe a try. It is spectacular. Thanks for tuning in to Cooking with the Koyas, and until next time, buon appetito. Oh yeah.